I noticed it before he did. That's the part I keep coming back to. Not the moment he picked it up. Not the way his voice changed. Just that 1 second. When I saw it first. And knew. That shouldn't be there. It was draped over the back of the dining chair. Careless. Like it belonged there. Like it had always been there. And for half a second, my brain tried to fix it. Tried to make it something else. Something harmless. Maybe it was Daniel's. Maybe I just didn't remember it. But no. Because Daniel didn't wear anything like that. It was darker. Fitted differently. Not his style. And worse. I recognized it. Not just vaguely. Specifically. I had seen it before. Too recently. That's when my chest tightened. Because I knew exactly whose it was. And how it got there. Marcus. I hadn't meant for it to happen like that. I hadn't meant for any of it to happen like that. That's the lie I told myself, at least. Because the truth was, it didn't just happen. It built. Slowly, carefully, in ways that felt small at the time. Ways that didn't feel like crossing a line. Until they did. Marcus and I worked in the same building. Different departments. Close enough to run into each other. Not close enough to matter. At first, it started with nothing. Small talk, passing comments. Something easy to step into. And just as easy to step out of. Except I didn't step out. I stayed. Longer than I should have. Long enough that it stopped being casual. Long enough that it became something I started to look forward to. That was the moment I should have stopped. But I didn't. Because I told myself it wasn't serious. That it didn't mean anything. That it didn't change anything with Daniel. I told myself I had control. I didn't. The first time Marcus came over, I almost canceled. I remember standing in the kitchen, staring at my phone, thinking, this is a bad idea. This is where it becomes real. But I didn't cancel. Because I thought I could manage it. Because Daniel wasn't supposed to be home. Because I thought, if nothing went wrong, it didn't count. That was the logic I used. Flawed, but convincing in the moment. Marcus stayed longer than he should have. Long enough for everything to feel normal. Too normal. Like we had done it before. Like it was something we could just keep doing. And that's where I made the mistake. Because when he left, we didn't rush. We didn't check everything. We didn't think about consequences. We just assumed everything was fine. I walked him to the door, watched him leave, closed it behind him. And that should have been it. That should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. Because he forgot something. Not his phone, not his keys. Something smaller. Something easier to miss. His shirt. He had taken it off earlier. Left it without thinking, and I didn't notice. Not then. Not when it mattered. By the time I realized, it was already too late, because Daniel was already home. I'm back. He called from the front door. My heart jumped, because he wasn't supposed to be. Hey, I called back, trying to sound normal, trying to keep everything steady. But something already felt off. Not because of him, because of me, because something wasn't right. And then I saw it. The chair, the shirt, still there, still obvious, still wrong. And Daniel was already walking toward the room. There was no time. No way to fix it. No way to move it without him seeing. So I did the worst possible thing. Nothing. I froze. And hoped, somehow, he wouldn't notice. But of course he did. Because I noticed. And Daniel always noticed things I tried to ignore. What are you looking at? He asked. His voice casual, normal, and that's what made it worse. Because everything wasn't normal. Not anymore. He followed my eyes, straight to it, the shirt, and everything shifted. He didn't react right away, didn't question it immediately. He just walked over, slow, like he already knew something didn't make sense, and picked it up. My stomach dropped. "This yours?" he asked. Still calm, still neutral, but something underneath it had changed. "No," I said. Too quickly, too automatically. And I knew instantly that was wrong, because now it was a question, and I had just confirmed it wasn't his. Daniel looked at the shirt again, then back at me. "Then whose is it?" There it was. No way around it. No explanation that worked. "I don't know," I said. The lie felt weak, empty, and Daniel knew it. I could see it in his face. Not anger, not yet. Just realization. Like pieces were coming together, like things he hadn't understood before were starting to make sense. "You don't know," he repeated quietly. And something about that, the way he said it, made it clear. He already knew. Or at least, he knew enough. He set the shirt down slowly, too carefully, like the moment mattered. "How long?" he asked. And just like that, everything collapsed. Because it wasn't if, it was how long. "A few months," I said. The truth, because lying now didn't matter. Daniel nodded slowly, like he expected it. Like this wasn't new. Just confirmed. "In our house?" he asked. That question hurt the most, because it meant something deeper. "Yes." Silence. Heavy, final. Daniel looked around the room, at everything, like it wasn't his anymore, like it had changed. "I trusted you," he said, not angry, just honest. And that was worse, because I had nothing to defend myself with. That night, he didn't yell, didn't argue. He just packed a bag. Slowly, deliberately. Like he had already made his decision. "I'm staying somewhere else," he said. And I didn't stop him, because I knew there was nothing left to say. A week later, he came back. Not to fix things, just to end them. "I can't move past it," he said. Simple, clear, final. And I understood. Because I wouldn't have been able to either. Marcus texted me once after that. I didn't answer. Because whatever I thought that was, it wasn't worth what it cost. And in the end, that's what stayed with me. Not the fight that never happened. Not the words we didn't say. But that one small mistake. That one thing I missed. Because it wasn't something big that exposed everything. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't planned. It was simple. A shirt. Sitting exactly where it shouldn't have been. Because it wasn't his.